got questions we always ask our guests. So one of the first one is, if you could take 3 people diving, so you could take them cave diving or out in the big ocean, who would you take and why? They don't have to be divers. It's just the principle of taking people to experience the underwater world.
That's actually a really difficult question. 3 as well, not just 1.
Oh, yes.
So
we like to test our guests.
So I guess one of them would probably be a drum and bass artist known as Raiden, who was kind of a bit of a hero of mine in the early days, and I did eventually sort of get to meet him and work with him, and we actually became quite good mates. And I don't know, he's a very, very talented musician, and he's very just generally quite artistic, and he's talked to me. I've talked to him a lot about diving and bits and bobs, but he doesn't get it, but he kind of always draws parallels with stuff that he's done, and they're usually quite sort of astute, spot on sort of parallels that he draws. And I'd quite like to be able to take him underwater and just kind of show him and go, see what I mean?
Yeah. So what's the DJ Raiden?
Yeah, but not DJ, just Raiden.
Just Raiden.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's currently calling himself Kamikaze Space Program, which is an awesome name. He's quite big in sort of techno and bass music and that. Lives over in Berlin now. So yeah, him. Who else? My closest friend, Steve Hatfield, for similar reasons, really. I guess I've always wanted to show him what it's about, because he's never got it. He's never got the caving, and he's never got the diving, and he's kind of one of these. Well, there's a lot of people that have never tried it, so there's a lot of people that don't get it, and he's kind of one of them. Almost, yeah. So it would be nice to be able to make him understand. And I'll go a little bit crazier with the last one and say Freddie Mercury.
Be honest, you're not the first to say they want to take Freddie Mercury. Somebody else mentioned him, didn't they?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay.
We've had Elton John as well mentioned, haven't we?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No, just because I've always wanted to meet Freddie Mercury, basically, and
be awesome.
Yeah. Go for a dive. Why not? It's a good way as any of meeting somebody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Really good question. Yeah. Really good answers.
Yeah. Okay. Second question for you. So we like to give our listener a bit of a nugget, and we ask our guests, if they've got some kind of nugget, maybe from life, maybe from diving, maybe from caving, that you can share, that somebody can take away from this episode, of a nugget of what we call it, of life.
Nugget of life, yeah.
Yeah.
A nugget of life.
Yeah. A top tip, if you like.
Or can we come back to that one?
You can. But the next question is also a little bit deep as well.
So if you could have like a billboard, the whole world could see it. So, and on there you could put a statement, a picture, a video, just to get a message out to the entire world. What would you put on your billboard?
I would probably say never for the billboard, because I never expected to be doing any of this at all. I thought I was going to be in music for life, and that was kind of the end of it. And then I started diving, and I never thought that I was going to end up underground. And then when I was doing the mines, it was all supposed to be a training ground so that I could sort of develop the skills that I needed to dive pretty caves abroad. I never intended to end up in UK caves, but I did end up in UK caves, and I ended up in the CDG, and I ended up actually caving as well for fun, not even diving anymore. And I remember one day I was on a trip, funnily enough, with Michael Thomas and Robert, and a few other members of the Wessex in OFD, and we did a pull through trip down a thing called the Nave to the Streamway up to a place called Top Waterfall, and then came back via Maypole Inlet. It's a really, really good trip. But I remember sitting at the top of the Nave, and I'd only just at the time learned how to do the vertical rope stuff, the SRT, single rope technique, which is a bit like, well, it's very much like what rope access technicians, so people that dangle off the side of buildings and that for a living, okay, what they use, except we have less redundant equipment. We have literally like one rope on one set of equipment, and the guys that dangle off buildings for a living, they have two sets of equipment. And yeah, I'd only just learned how to do that stuff, and I remember sitting at the top of the Nave, slightly nervous as I'm putting my kit onto this rope to abseil down into this big black hole. And I looked down there and I thought, how on earth did scuba diving turn into this?
Just at that moment, like, turn right.
What am I doing? And it didn't last long, and it was a magic trip. It was awesome. But yeah, just for that sort of 5-10 seconds, I was staring down this hole, going, "How on earth did I end up here?" George,
we say this loads, on the podcast, and again, this is another example that once you learn to dive, you never know where it's going to take you.
Absolutely. And, so never say never.
No, that's brilliant. It's a great example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, if somebody's thinking about scuba diving, just try it. You can't say that you haven't done it,
because you don't know where you're going to be in years to come. You'll be doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, nugget time.
Nugget time.
Come on. So we need your nugget for somebody who's listening. What little nugget have you got that somebody can take away from this?
Well, a fairly salient one for me at the moment, I guess, is would be about healing, and sort of never giving up. Would be one thing. In fact, you know what? If you want a nugget, if you actually want it in nugget form, let's say something along the lines of never underestimate the power of positive thinking, because all the way through that rescue where I was slowly extracted from the cave where I had my accident, and all the way through my recovery to date, I've been as positive as I possibly can be, and I really do believe it made a difference. I think if I hadn't have believed that I could survive it, I wouldn't have. And I think that if I didn't believe that I could get through this thing and eventually get all my movement back and basically make a full recovery, then I don't believe that I would. But because I believe that I can, I think I will.
Yeah,
awesome.
Really, really good. Yeah, and you can't beat that. Positive thinking. Yeah, it means everything. So no, really, really good, George.
Yeah, and you're looking great, George. So carry on doing that, and we wish you great health and recovery with that. So
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it'll be good to watch your progress and get to see you back in the caves and the underwater.
Yeah, it will be good to get back into them. I'm really looking forward to starting diving again. I don't know exactly when it's going to be. I mean, 12 days till this wrist cast comes off, and then I guess I'll go and jump in a swimming pool, probably the shallow end first, and sort of see where I'm at. But I really can't wait to get back in the water.
Yeah. Well, it's all small steps, isn't it? But you're on the positive road, and that's
definitely. But I mean, it's a low impact thing, It's not like caving or running or something like that, where it's scuba diving is quite a low impact thing to do. So I should be able to get back to it, reasonably swiftly. Yeah,
definitely. So if people want to maybe know more about caving or sort of going down the route that you did, where would you advise them to go? What would be the first points of call to sort of get some more information, or websites to go to, or people to contact?
Well, I mean, there's the BCA in this country, the British Caving Association would probably be a good place to start. I mean, I was already kind of I was introduced it because I already knew a couple of cavers, which, I mean, not everyone's in that position. So if I wasn't in that position, I guess I would, yeah, I'd probably I'd recommend looking at BCA, and also, you know, whatever if you do live in a caving area, you'll probably have a local caving club.
Yeah.
So, you know, to be honest, any of them will help you. You know, if you just find a caving club, any caving club online, and contact them, they will help you start caving.
Yeah.
You can contact me if you like through the guys at the Big Scuba podcast. I'm quite happy to help people.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, yeah, like I said, South Wales Caving Club, they have a provisionals weekend twice a year. So I think one's June and the other's very definitely around Bonfire Night, which is specifically geared around people starting caving. So, you know, you can get hold of them any time of year and essentially book in for the next provisionals weekend.
Yeah, it's a bit of a taster into things.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So so
brilliant.
If anybody wants to find out the information, they can email us, and then we can pass on their questions to you.
Absolutely, no problem.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for joining us, George. It's been
it's been brilliant, George. Thank you.
Yeah, really inspiring.
Thank you very much. Can I just add one thing as well, which is that all of the cave rescue teams in the UK are completely volunteer led. So there's no government money, and there's no sort of government facilities or set up or anything. It's completely volunteer led. So just kind of putting that out there, really, whether that results in sort of donations or just people knowing a little bit more about how cave rescue works. You know, go and check them out.
Well, we'll share their website and put that out there in the show notes. So if anyone wants to go there, have a look, and even for the price of a cup of coffee, give them a donation. You know, it goes to a great cause, and you know, helps them keep going as well, doesn't it? So
exactly that. Yeah.
Well done for mentioning them.
Yeah,